Welcome to another Sacramento Startup Founder interview. Joining me virtually today due to COVID-19 social distancing is Mathew Magno, founder of JAPA, a Sacramento-based startup that has gained a lot of traction in the short time since it's launched. Welcome, Mathew.
Hi, thanks, Jeff, for having me.
So let's start out just by having you introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about your background, how you got into entrepreneurship, and tell us about JAPA, what that is, and how that idea came about.
Definitely. Well, like you said, my name is Mathew Magno. I'm about 5'10". I like long walks on the beach. No, just kidding. I am the CEO of JAPA Inc., a smart parking company. I'm also one of the co-founders and directors of Plasma, an accelerator program at UC Davis focused at undergraduate entrepreneurs. And then I'm also a council member for the Sacramento Mayor's Tech Council. But yeah, I mean, my entrepreneurial journey probably started when I was younger, maybe middle school. I used to buy Slim Jims from Costco and sell it to my classmates for some profit. Yeah, so I think that's where I started to get a little bit of a hustler's mentality. And then moving more towards high school, I found Craigslist and was able to buy laptops and fix them up in high school and then sell it back to people for more of a profit. So I've always had that hustler's mentality, the entrepreneurial mentality in me. But yeah, moving forward, I mean, I moved up. I'm originally from SoCal. I'm a first generation student, put myself through college from community college, transferred to UC Davis and studied computer science. So it's pretty much my background there.
Now, didn't you come up with the idea for JAPA while you were still at UC Davis, or am I right there?
Yeah. So JAPA, that's a pretty cool story. So we founded the company about 3 years ago at UC Davis. We're undergraduate students. And we took an entrepreneurship course geared towards building a startup, pretty much. First one ever taught at UC Davis. I actually got an email and I was super excited to join it. Originally, I never got into the class. I was 16th on the wait list, so I had to fight the teacher every day for a good 2 weeks. Just went in every day. I was like, "Hey, is there room?" She would always say, "No, sorry, there's no room. You're crazy. Don't even try." But that didn't stop me. For some reason, it was like a calling to me. So by the second week, I went to her. She's like, "Fine, stop bugging me. You're in the class." And then that's where JAPA got started. Our first homework assignment was to think of a problem we wanted to solve. And of course, we thought about parking on universities, which is horrible. Just not universities, everywhere. And we knew we wanted to solve a really, really big problem that's very difficult to solve. So we focused on parking.
Well, so let's launch into that. So tell us a little bit about that specific problem statement that you worked on and the solution you came up with that became JAPA.
Yeah. So after that, we had to think about the problem that we want to solve, and we focused on parking. We looked at the team, and we were all random people just put into a group from the classroom. So we had about 4 computer science students and then 2 engineering students. So we said, okay, what if we built a mobile application that told you where parking spaces are available, and we could build our own sensors and put them on every space? So we set out to do that during the class, and we were horrible at making our own sensors. Within parking, you need close to 100% as you can, and we were like at 80%. So we ended up, talking with more parking directors, and we're still students. We're managing school and homework and everything. And still putting time towards the company. And then, we made a parking app, hence our name JAPA, just a parking app. And then, but we realized consumer facing was very, very difficult. We couldn't really come up with a business model that was going to be lucrative and scalable other than advertisements, and nobody wants advertisements on a mobile application. So we started talking more to parking directors. We went to parking conferences, ditching some school to go to parking conferences sometimes. And then, flying across the country, crazy stuff for 2 students. And it was funny because we would be the flight attendants on the plane. They'd be like, "What are you guys doing?" Like, "Oh, we're doing homework because we have a final tomorrow." And then we're flying back from Florida at a parking conference. But after talking and researching the industry more, we found out we wanted to go business facing. That was an easier way in. We had to deal with less customers, and so we decided to build a management platform on top of that.
Now, had you built anything prior to making that pivot to the business to B2B
We built out the mobile application, but it wasn't per space analytics what we were doing. We were basically we built a car counter and put it at the entrance of exits at UC Davis parking structures. So we were counting the occupancy. And it was funny because it was very, very hacky. I mean, the police department one time circled us because we were testing our sensor, putting it on the ceiling, but our sensor was just an IoT chip that blinked red with a bunch of wires on it, so it looked like a bomb in a way. And then, so when we got circled by the police, we're like, "Oh, I'm sorry, we're students, we're just testing out a parking." And then I was like, "Oh yeah, it looks pretty bad." So yeah, so that's what we set out to do. And then when we were building the parking I mean, after we had the mobile application, it was just occupancy. We started building the management platform, and that's when we partnered with UC Davis Transportation Services. They gave us a couple, like I want to say $1,500 to help build out our stuff, and then we took it outside the classroom right away. We were starting to graduate, and then we were in the Big Bang competition, which was a huge competition. I forget how many teams competed in it, but they opened it up not only just for UC Davis, but it was actually opened up to the whole state, I believe.
Was that in 2018 or that you did that?
2018. And then we went in, just 2 students, with our idea, and we ended up winning. And we were, we were so shocked. We're like, because we were going up against big companies already. Cognomite was an amazing company, well ahead of us, and we were shocked, we were surprised, but at the same time very humbled. And that gave us, and we were just about to graduate. That was like our big icing on top of the cake for graduation. And that's when I looked at my co-founder Charles, our CTO, and I said, let's do this. Remember this moment, because our lives are going to change, and it's only as much as we put into this. So we decided to get a house in Woodland, down not too far from the campus, and made it our startup house. Put a bunch of desks, monitors everywhere, and just we're able to actually focus on the company 110% now. We didn't have to worry about homework. Yeah.
The Big Bang prize money, that was basically your seed money?
In a way. Yeah, so they gave us $10,000. We won $10,000, which was great. It gave us a little bit of money to put towards growing the company and rent and everything. But then during the Big Bang competition, we had one of the judges reach out to us and said, "I love what you guys are doing. I've actually been following you. Reach out to me. I want to make an investment." And then so that was our first investment ever in JAPA, was from a judge, previous winner of the Big Bang competition too, Benjamin Wang. Put $25,000 into our company.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
You actually did have an MVP at that point?
Yes, we did have an MVP.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of people, a lot of startup founders, they have an idea and they think they can get investment right away. And we always tell them, no, you really have to have something demonstrable, something, at least an MVP that you can show somebody before you're going to get people interested. And I just wanted to make sure that your case, you have the same experience on that. But you mentioned—
Actually, the story of the MVP of our company is very, very interesting, because before, like, what I believe in the MVP is don't even code anything. It could be a piece of paper. And what we did was, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Picnic Day at UC Davis, but it's a crazy, crazy packed day. It's probably the most populated day at Davis, where all the other schools, it's a huge event. So we went out on Picnic Day and dressed up as parking cone costumes and made giant cutouts of our parking logo. And we stood in open parking spaces whenever we would find it, and direct vehicles to the open space.
Oh,
and then so whenever they would park, we'd ask them, and we had to have our like little notebook and everything. We say, "Hey, did we help you out?" And they go, "Yeah, this was awesome." Like, "Okay, we're making a mobile application that's doing the same thing. Sign up for our mailing list, and we'll keep you updated."
That's an awesome customer validation.
Yeah, I mean,
validation, yeah.
That was one thing that was really good for us, because we were able to save a lot of time building, save a lot of time without, because a lot of companies build stuff without doing market validation,
right,
and then it's a waste of time. So if we could do it without building anything and validate it right away, it was the easiest thing. And I think I actually stole that a little bit from, I think it was Lyft's story, the story of Lyft. The founders of Lyft, actually, they dressed up in a beaver and lizard costume and went onto a campus and was handing out flyers for their stuff. So I was like, oh, I could do a parking cone. That would be funny. And so we did that. Yeah.
Very cool. That's kind of the origins of it. So what were some of the early days? I know that you won with Big Bang, which you talked about, but you also won King's Capitalize, I think was that 2018 also, or was that 2019?
2019.
Okay, so you've won a few awards, you've got some money. So what were the early days of launching JAPA like?
So we officially launched in February of 2019. That's when we got our first customer. And it was interesting because a lot of people didn't believe in us in the beginning. They were like, "You're crazy. No one's going to purchase a sensor for every parking space. That's too expensive. Think of a different model, you know." But it was those people that gave us more fire, the naysayers, the doubters, for us to prove them wrong and push harder. So when we were launching, we were excited. We're like, okay, let's show, let's show that we can do it. And we got UC Berkeley, and it was fortunate because UC Berkeley was doing a pilot with another parking company that was not doing exactly what we were doing, but it was kind of more towards meters and everything. And that company got acquired, so that project had to be dismissed, and they were looking for a new company, and we came in right at the right time. UC Davis, the parking director at UC Davis called UC Berkeley's parking director and totally vouched for us and said, "Hey, they're doing some cool stuff." And then that's when they gave us a pilot. We confirmed on a 3-month paid pilot with UC Berkeley. And already a month and a half in, they wanted to expand into more parking lots and bypass the pilot, which was awesome for us. We showed.
So was working with universities like UC Davis and Berkeley part of your go-to-market strategy from the get-go, or was that something you just kind of stumbled into? How did that come about?
Well, definitely our target market was universities.
Yeah.
We one was because we saw it was an easy way in. We had a unique positioning as UC students, and we believed, which helped us out early in the beginning, and we still kind of do it now, is utilizing our UC Davis emails, our university emails, because I know sales calls are hard. Nobody wants sales calls. And so if I was able to talk to the higher ups, the parking directors, the decision makers, and get a way in and not talk about sales, I can kind of formulate it in a way where I can bring it into sales. So I initially started off by using my UC Davis email, contacting all the parking directors and say, "Hey, I just, if you have a couple of minutes, I'm starting a parking company. I would love to pick your brain about the problems you're having." So all of last year and the year before that, it was all about understanding our customer problems. But so using that email, we were able to get in pretty easily. But then once they saw our product and what we were doing, like they would look at our website or something, and they'd be like, "Wait, you guys made this to students?" And we're like, "Yeah." "Oh, we want to try it out right away." And then so we started to see, wow, universities are loving this. They want to pilot, they want to try it out. So okay, the target market is universities. Let's make sure that we dominate this market before we move on to others, so we can actually gain credibility and move forward. So so our target market was definitely universities from the beginning.
I think you said something, or just a minute there, is to go. So when you talk to them, you talked about understanding their problems, wanting to understand and pick their brain. You took that approach rather than trying to sell them on your product. How significant do you think that approach was in establishing those relationships?
Amazing. I mean, it was like 100% direct impact of what our sales and traction have been since we started.
Interesting.
Because I believe in relationship building, and that's the biggest thing, and trust and being transparent. That's how I want to run the company. So when I talk to our clients and our customers, I bring that relationship with us. And being university students, it has its caveats. It's good and bad, but they're trusting of us, and and we're open with the price, and we're not here to really make too much money, even though our company is pretty lucrative. But we're cutting all of our competitors, but it's because we're really here to solve a problem, and that's what our customers are noticing. We're a transparent company and not trying to take advantage of people. So we let our product speak for itself, pretty much.
So walk us through, what's some of the key wins and milestones you've had since launching in a little over a year ago, really, in February 2019. You said you became official. What are some of the milestones you've had in the last 14 months or so?
Yeah, definitely. Well, before even launching, one of the biggest milestones for us was partnering with Siemens. That was a huge partnership for us. Yeah. So I forgot to mention that we partnered with Siemens while we were still students at UC Davis, and that just made our companies so much better. Having Siemens backing us up. So that was a huge milestone for us. But outside of that, within the past 14 months, I would say just finding, I would say closing customers and then finding product market fit was one of the biggest milestones for us, because now that we are closing more universities and we're actually bidding on RFPs and winning them competitively, we're starting to see, okay, now we're starting to have product market fit within the university scheme. So it actually takes account for a lot of things, like, okay, we have market validation for universities, and the universities are actually renewing their contracts with us, so they're actually liking our product. So that was a huge milestone. Winning the RFP was a huge milestone for us. So we won an RFP with UC Santa Barbara, and we bid competitively on that, and we won. And it was over $200,000 contract for 1 year of service for one.
So you're generating revenue pretty much from the beginning.
We became cash flow positive last month.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, we're fortunate that our product is a premium product and that people see the value, our clients see the value. So they're willing to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for it. And, we do bring a ton of ROI to them. So, it's a win-win situation for everybody. I mean, we're talking about a $1 million contract with LA Convention Center that we're working on. It's
Awesome.
huge.
Awesome. So where are you at now? What's coming up next for you? And I'll ask this, the COVID crisis has got to be changing things up. I'll ask more about that in a minute. But what kind of stage are you at right now, and what were you planning to do before COVID hit?
Yeah, well, this year was all about growth, scaling the company. We proved that our product is that people want our product, they're paying for it. We haven't changed it at all, and they're still paying, or they're still getting the same product. So this year was about scaling the business, really getting ourselves out there to other states, and then making, growing California, getting us out there to other states, and then fundraising was a big one for us. We were starting to close our $1 million seed round, and that was going to go towards a big hire, more of a sales team, software development. We have a lot of new features coming into, so we have a payment feature that we're going to be implementing later this year. So you'll be able to pay for parking straight through our app, and it's actually going to be autonomous. You don't have to do anything. And then we also want to start working with computer vision and cameras, using CCTVs to recognize parking. Really just automate the whole process, the whole experience from the management to the commuters. I think. Did
you say you got your seed round, or are you still working on that?
No, unfortunately, COVID hit the fundraising round really, really hard.
so there's the first answer to the question about COVID. So I've been asking some of our local ecosystem or entrepreneurs how COVID has affected them. So basically, it shut down that funding round for you, huh?
In a way, not a complete shutdown. A lot of the VCs and the firms that we're talking to, they're focusing a lot on their existing portfolio, right, making them survive. So a lot of the people we're talking to actually are holding off until after COVID. Some put a date, maybe September, July. Some VCs have passed fully just because they want to hold on to their cash. And then there's still a handful of VCs that we're still talking to. So we're still trying to push it. Fortunately, the company, we're still growing even amidst this crisis. So we have enough cash flow to, still survive. We have a good enough runway. So I'm looking at it into two different models, whether, we have investment and no investment.
All right. So you're looking at scenarios. So you're doing some scenario planning.
Oh, definitely.
So, I assume, and correct me if I'm wrong, that, with all the stay-at-home orders, that people aren't using parking spaces. Schools are closed. Is that true? And is that affecting your ability to sell the product?
Yes, it's definitely true. We definitely work with all parking, but mostly universities, some municipalities. But yeah, parking has stopped. A lot of the universities, it's a mix-up, because a lot of the time that we're spending during COVID is really understanding what's going on, understanding our customers, the projections that they're having, and so we can project what we're going to be doing here at JAPA. And talking to our customers, it's a mix-up. Some people are so busy because all the universities have to refund all the parking permits because they're not going to be there for the next couple of quarters or semesters. And so they're dealing with that. But then the other half of the people are like, yeah, we have nothing to do. This is a perfect time to do projects. We have a big expansion coming up with UC Berkeley, but that project got put on hold. But at the same time, Sac State, we're still moving forward with the project with Sac State, and should be installing, pretty soon. So that's huge for us. So it's
Interesting.
it's different, and we're reacting to it based on as it comes, pretty much.
How much
Go for
time
it.
have you put into scenario planning and figuring out how to react to it? Is that taking up pretty much all your time now, or is it just, kind of a side project that you have to kind of look at? How's it?
It's a constant thing. I mean, it's always on the back of my mind. My job is to make sure that we have runway and I can pay everybody and that we're still growing. And so even when I'm sleeping, I'm thinking about it, to be honest. Yeah. So I mean, it's just the best way, so you can be prepared for any situation.
Mm-hmm. How
I'm
big is
sitting
your
on
team now?
just 4 people.
4 people. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that has to qualify as one of the biggest challenges you've faced so far. One of my typical questions is, what are some of the biggest challenges you've had to overcome? Is how does COVID compare to other challenges you've faced?
Oh man, well, COVID is definitely something I've never even dreamed of.
Nobody has, right?
So I mean, that one's definitely a crazy experience to be dealing with. And I'm grateful that there's tons of webinars out there to really help us through this time and guide us with advisors and people like you and Laura, just to anyone we could just reach out to in case we have questions. But other challenges for us, I would want to say, if I were to generalize it, it would be 2 things. One is, like I mentioned earlier, is proving the doubters wrong, and then the second thing would be continually pushing the bar as high as we can. I think when I say those as challenges is, the doubters is because we're such young entrepreneurs, with little experience. How do we prove to them that we can build a successful business? And one way we do it is by pushing the bar high, meeting our goals, succeeding at it, and exceeding our goals, and making sure that we stay innovative, we stay professional, and so people don't take us just as some fresh college graduates, that we are an actual company. So that's one of the biggest challenges, and so we're lucky that people recognize what we're doing, and they were able to put us on the Mayor's Tech Council, so we have more say within technology coming into the city and everything. So that would be one of the biggest challenges, and funding, of course.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah. What about some of the biggest wins? What would you say are your top 2 or 3 wins you've had as a startup?
As a startup, biggest win for sure is having the best team. I think I have one of the best teams. It's more of a family here. And
Want to give a shout out to them? Name them. Who are they? Who's your team?
Shout out to Charles Chen, that's sitting right here, Wyatt Dyke and Andy Wu. I mean, without them, this company wouldn't be what we are today, honestly. And it's the team that makes the company.
Awesome.
So they think that's the biggest win. It's a challenge to find a good team. I've helped startups all the time, and that's one of the biggest things. So I was fortunate enough to have Charles have the even though we're complete opposite personality wise, we have the same work ethic, same mentality, same passion, and that's why we work so well together. I would say another big win would be the Siemens partnership. I mean, even amidst this COVID crisis, they're pushing us out to other projects. We're working with Canada now, a project in Canada, Pittsburgh, coming up too. So cool ones there. And then another huge win would be winning that UC Santa Barbara RFP. That opened up so many doors, because now all the other universities and Cal States could piggyback off that contract, and we can bypass procurement and do larger projects without bidding on it. So that was a huge win for us, and now it's actually pushing our sales cycle a lot faster.
So some very strategic early wins is kind of what gave you some leverage.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so what do you think, besides getting beyond COVID, what do you think you need to get to the next level? Is it the funding round, or is it you need to hire more people to have those new functionalities? What do you need to get to the next level? And the follow-up question is, what can the Sacramento area do, or people in the community here in Sacramento do to help you get that?
Yeah, the next biggest thing we need for JAPA is definitely just to close our round. I mean, we have a great product at the right time with the right team. We need to capitalize on it. And so, even though we're cash flow positive and we don't need investments, we need it to scale and have hyper growth. And that's what our vision is for this company, to really take advantage of it. So, I mean, it would be funding, closing these rounds, and I think the Sacramento community has been great, introducing us to everybody, their whole network. I mean, my network went 100 times fold already, just meeting like 5 people. And so, that I think it's great. If they know more people that we should be talking to, it's just let us know, because the community is great about talking to each other and introducing people. And so I would just say keep it up. I think the community's been awesome, and I think Sacramento has a lot coming for it for sure.
What would you say are the biggest assets of the Sacramento startup community? What are the biggest the things that you can point to a startup founder or somewhere else? You can say, oh yeah, in Sacramento we got this and this and this. What do we got going for us here?
I mean, the first things that come to mind is definitely, Startup Sac is huge. I mean, no, I'm being completely honest. It's Startup Sac, the Carlson Center, UC Davis. They all have these huge organizations where they're connecting people. I mean, the ecosystem that Laura put down, right, where you have all the different routes. That's the biggest thing. I mean, there's so much help and innovation and everything out there within our community. Different avenues, different, specializing in different things. I think one thing is to push it out more, get the awareness, educate people that this stuff is there, because a lot of people aren't go-getters and won't go look for things themselves and need to be told some stuff. So they will never find it, but I think as community leaders, I think we definitely should be educating the community on what's out there.
That's basically Startup Sac's mission, is to kind of make the community more visible and be a resource and be able to make those connections. So that's good to hear. Thanks for saying that. I'll pay you later for that. So on the flip side, though, what do you think are the challenges? What's missing here in our region that we could use more of?
I mean, I'm coming from my point of view, a young entrepreneur in a startup coming out of college. And honestly, I would say is if we had a really credible accelerator where we're focused on building these Sacramento companies, like a YC of Sacramento or even a Skydeck of Sacramento, and where we're focused on fostering these brilliant young minds, that we have brilliant colleges and everything around us, not even colleges, just brilliant people. If we can guide them and really just focus and bring in the best teams to help them, I think that would be great for the community, honestly. I mean, there's a lot of great accelerators out there within Sacramento. I'm not discrediting any of them, but I think if we had one great one, like, it would be phenomenal.
Yeah, I've heard that mentioned many times by other people. So, all right, so starting to wrap up here. Any parting words of advice or inspiration you'd give to other entrepreneurs, startup founders out there, based on your vast experience now as a well, you started pretty early as a teenager, but what words of advice do you have to share with others?
My best advice, and solely based on my experiences, be knowledgeable, be likable, be transparent. I think if you have all those three factors within not only yourself as a person, but as a company too, you're solid. I mean, like I said, there's so much help out there. There's so many people willing just to give a helping hand, and if you're likable and you can back up your stuff with knowledge, I mean, everyone's going to help you. And, I think it's the help that, and the support of everybody that brings us, a lot of motivation.
Awesome. Good words of advice. How can people find you? Website, social media? How do people find out more about JAPA?
Okay. Are you ready for the list? No, I'm just kidding. We have our website. It's parkjapa.com, parkjapa.com. Go on our website. You can reach out to us there. I think on our social media, it's Park JAPA too. So you can go on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Park JAPA. I think Instagram is JAPA Parking, I think. Email us, contact@japa.com if you have any questions. We answer, I am the customer support, so I'll answer right away.
Awesome.
And I think that's pretty much it.
All right. Thank you for your time, Mathew. Any last parting shout outs that you'd like to give to anybody? Any words of thanks to any mentors or anything you want to shout out?
I mean, thanks to all of our mentors. I mean, our advisors, Jeff Smith and Don Plumley, they're amazing. They've been helping us out a ton. All of our other friends in the community startup stack, Jeff and you, Laura, you guys have been awesome with everything else, even outside of this. So thank you to you guys, this UC Davis. There's so many people. I mean, everybody. So many people. And stay safe.
All
Stay
right.
safe. Practice social distancing. I mean, to everybody, it's serious. Practice
Yep.
social distancing. And JAPA like it's hot. That's it.
All right. Thank you for your time, Matthew.
All right. Thanks, Jeff.
All right. Cheers.